All right, let's get started here looking at some free agents for week 5 running backs. All right, let's start off with Rashad White here. Hey, he should be already rostered. In fact, 79%. We've been crying it here. He should be because he is be rostered because he is the primary backup to Bucky Irvin, the number 10 running back, right? You know, he got a scheduled for an MRI. We're going to find out how injured he is. So Rashad White, of course, is the backup. They're going to be really getting some time there, right? Especially if he's out for a while. So that's a pretty big development there. And hey, he's already rostered. I thought I'd put him on there, get him in. How about Woody Marks? He's showing up now. He's the 29th scoring now. Coming off a lot of touches last week, 21 of them, I think. Look at that scoring. All right, he's taking over there. Nick Chubb, not as much scoring last week, down in the amount of touches there. Woody Marks is probably, got a little more gas in the tank. Now, Houston's offense isn't one of the best, so we'll see. And if Nick Chubb stays around, but Woody Marks by far only 54% rostered, should be on a roster near you, right? He should be on. How about Kenneth Gainwell? That shocked some people here this last week, right? Look at that explosive week in scoring. He has up 3 touchdowns now on the season. Jalen Warren sat out, of course, week 4, giving Kenneth Gainwell all that action. So Caleb Johnson got in there for a little bit, touched the ball much, but he hasn't been doing anything. So right now, we'd expect Warren to be back maybe for next week. Said it was kind of a last-minute decision there because he was going to go. But anyway, but it does prove that Kenneth Gainwell's by far the number 2 there. And what if he ends up being, look at that last week, better than Warren? What if they started shifting and hit his way a little bit? Hey, there's always the chance. We want to take one with one of these running backs from a team that doesn't have a strong alpha number 1 running back. And Warren, hey, he's there, but he couldn't make the call last week. Warren have been doing pretty good. How about Kareem Hunt? Right? No alpha there in Kansas City by far. It just keeps back and forth. You can see 45th in scoring, 46th for these two. So, Hunt getting some touches last week. He's always getting the touches there. And it is a good Kansas City team. Well, that ain't a lot of scoring there. All right? He's the 46th in scoring. But, hey, 42 touches. That's the 34th in touches, so he's always getting the ball. All right? Kenneth Gainwell on those touches is catching up. He got a lot last week. So, all right, we move on to Corum and Bashan Tootin. I guess I'd have them up next. They're 58% for Corum. All right? So, he's still out there, and this is the whole thing. He's getting touches each week. You look at that scoring. Didn't get as many points last week, but he is the direct backup to Kyrene Williams, and this is a great scoring team to be on, right? Kyrene Williams keeps showing up. Hey, he's been scoring good. He's the 11th amount of touches, right? So, hey, Corum's going to be there ready to go if something would happen, just like Rashad White is, right? How about Tootin over here? Tootin's getting in there, getting some action too. He is the direct backup to Travis Etienne. Look at those points for Etienne. He just keeps going, right? 7th running back. Tootin, he's the 42nd, but hey, he got some targets and touches last week. He's 88% owned. So, hey, people are on him. But this is where I'd have him. So, hey, if I had him and maybe this Gainwell or Woody Marks was available, hey, there's a better, clearer path to number 1 for him because Travis Etienne is the number 1 there, right? And they worked that Allen in on a lot of passing downs, too, stealing a little bit for Tootin. I like Tootin, but hey, he fumbles one time and then he's in trouble. All right. All right, how about Kendra Miller? He was getting a lot more play than usual, wasn't he? Look at that last week, 14 points there. Doing pretty good scoring. Hey, of course, Kamara, he's been sure and steady there, but hasn't been exploding. Of course, there's still the little trade rumor around him. But, hey, this Miller shows up a little bit last week. So, hey, you got to put him on the board. He's only 30th ranked. Oh, and that's about where I'd own him. This is ranked. I'd have him, from the top down here. How about Allen? Yeah, that game's going on right now. He had 4 or 5 carries. It looked like Brees Hall had 4 or 5 carries. So they're still splitting there. And of course, we've talked about, hey, Brees Hall is a trade candidate. If they did, I would turn more over to Braylon Allen. We'll see how that works out. They're playing right now. Hey, Sean Tucker. All right, let's not forget about Sean Tucker. He exploded some last year when he had the chance. I hadn't done much this year. Got 2 yards. But if something happens to Bucky Irvin long term, and you find out before your waivers run, with the news, Sean Tucker, he would be the backup to the backup, right? He might even show up longer in the season, be the one. You just never know there too. So Ollie Gordon over here, he's playing right now too. He looked like he'd got a couple carries, but we'll just see how those go. But they pretty well fit in right about there anyway. How about Pacheco and Algier? Pacheco he's there. I mean, he just ain't getting. He got a little bit more last week. Kansas City doing that a little better there, a lot scoring. But hey, Kareem Hunt's always taken. Hey, they started working in Smith. I think I got him on the list next down here. Brashard Smith got some action last week. He's got only 50 yards on the year, but hey, why not go run a little younger, a little faster? Of course, that would work out for them there. How about we had Algier and Hill here. So Algier, hey, he's 63% owned. I mean, Robinson just keeps going and going, but look at all that Algier got last week. I mean, he's while you're waiting around for a number 3 running back, if something to happen to him, you get Algier, right? Get him in there. Well, hey, he's still scoring pretty good. They get a lot of. Look at this. He's 31st in touches, right? 45 of them on the year. He's getting at least 10 a game, and you get some points while you're waiting. That's 63%. How about Justice Hill? I guess you're getting some points while you're waiting here. Derrick Henry. He just keeps, hey, unless they get in the game script where they're running the ball and not passing, it's supposed to lighten up their schedule. Derrick Henry's going to start taking back over. Maybe the games get back to normal. Baltimore had 4 tough games out of the get-go. So, and we got to find out about the injury to Lamar Jackson and how serious that is. But Justice Hill, hey, not only is he a backup, he's getting some points now, right? Emmanuel Wilson and Rodriguez here, down here way low. But hey, Wilson's getting some action here. He's affirmed himself pretty well. He's the backup to Jacobs now, I think. Chris Brooks was getting some action earlier, but Emmanuel Wilson's pretty well the backup I'd put to Jacobs. And, Jacobs, he's listed, well, that was for last week, but he got some pretty good points there. How about Chris Rodriguez? He flashes now and then, a little thing, but you'd still have him possibly second or third there. Merritt last week, he got some action too. McNichols kind of going to be sharing there. And a couple others here. What about Singletary and Rico Dowdell? Singletary, if Tyrone Tracy's out, he's going to get some of the action. Well, he got a little action, not enough to get on the team here. All right, so, all right. Well, and we had Robinson Jr. and Mangali here. Robinson Jr. 72% on the Bears guy. He just never keeps. He's not coming. He's in every game. DeAndre Swift keeps playing. I mean, he seems injured at times, but they just keep going to him. So anyway. All right, that's our look at the running back free agents for next week. And we'll see how they, good luck on your drafts.